window, but I'll probably have to mute it as soon as it goes on.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, that's clearly not your face. I don't know what the heck Mike was doing there.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3.
Well, hello, and welcome to my Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show, where craft whiskey is king. Thank you, everyone, for stopping out early on this Saturday evening. We're happy to have every one of you here because we have our good friend John Guentzel from Texas on with us this evening. We're going to be talking about his life in whiskey and where it's brought him to, and some of this fantastic stuff. I'm swirling them both, one in each hand. These two smell fantastic, these samples right here. So we're going to get into some stuff. Ben, how are you doing, and what are you drinking down there?
I'm doing pretty great today for a Saturday. Beautiful weather in South Carolina, and I've got the same thing as you. Double fisting here. Some of the Crowded Barrel new make of their bourbon and this the single mom, and just nosing and the initial tasting here. They're fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And John, thank you for stopping in and spending some time with us this evening, and for helping to smuggle these off the property. We appreciate that so much.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for that title card that I thought was maybe going to get me demoted at one point, but you know.
Once again, you can blame that on Mike. He's not here, so you can get on him. Oh, yeah. He's not here because Margaret is graduating from high school. So, and I know she does watch the show sometimes. So cheers to you. Might as well start off with a nice drink from everyone. So cheers. Congratulations on graduating high school and on to all the exciting stuff afterwards.
Yep. Congratulations.
Okay, I hadn't tasted that yet. Damn. We'll save my thoughts on that for a minute.
Okay.
Kind of broke my brain for 2 seconds there. in the best way possible. So, John, we all know you have this wonderful job, but when did you start liking whiskey? When did you start getting interested in it on your journey or in your life? Sometimes it's early, sometimes it's late. Was there a moment that kind of tripped a trigger for you?
I was always kind of casually interested in whiskey, but never like super hardcore. I mean, the biggest nerdy whiskey thing about me prior to probably 5 years ago was that there used to be you remember Modern Marvels on like forget what channel it is, but Modern Marvels TV show did like an episode that was like the history of whiskey or something.
Mm-hmm.
And like I recorded that one episode on my TiVo, and I would watch it repeatedly just because it was interesting, you know. But then in the last 3 or 4 years, I've gotten a lot more interested, and a lot of it has to do with this strange YouTube channel that talks about whiskey a lot. I'm not really sure why.
It's the History channel. There you go.
Yeah.
That weird channel seemed to draw so many people in the whiskey community, but it worked out extra exciting for you because you ended up working there. Now, how did that end up working? How did you work your way into that? I'm so intrigued because for a lot of us watching, it seemed like a little bit of a dream job to land that one. How did you work into it?
So back in like February of 2018, up in that point, I've been working in software for almost 20 years with 1 or 2 small breaks in between. But in February 2018, I got laid off for like the last time that I was willing to put up with. And I could have gone back into another company, but I was just, you know what, I'm just freaking done. I want to do something else. But I had no idea exactly what. So I was just sitting around the house burning my leftover PTO and severance package and watching YouTube. And I started watching the Modern Rogue channel, and they did an episode called "How to Drink Whiskey Like a Gentleman" with Daniel. And I was like, oh, this Modern Rogue thing is kind of cool, but this other channel sounds pretty interesting. Maybe I'll go check out a couple of their episodes. So I started watching The Vault, and then kind of started watching the Tribe stuff as well. And after a couple of days, which is actually like a whole lot of episodes, I realized
I know that routine.
Yeah, I realized, hey, this distillery and tasting room they're talking about, that's like a 30-minute drive from me, because I live in downtown Austin and they're on the southern edge. It's like, I'll go check it out. So I went down there one Friday evening for happy hour. Had a fantastic time. Got to meet a bunch of cool people. And then just kind of kept going back on Fridays and hanging out. And at one point, probably like the fourth or fifth time I was there, Emma was bartending. And I was like, if you guys need like a volunteer or something on bottling day or whatever, let me know, because I got free time. I'm not doing anything else right now. And she didn't take the offer the first time. But after like the second or third, they decided to give me a chance. And it ended up being I think the first Texas Whiskey Festival blend was actually the first bottling I helped out on.
Oh, nice.
That was a lot of bottles. But then I just kept volunteering and kept volunteering and kept volunteering. And eventually, I think if you volunteer enough, they start to feel guilty, and I think maybe we should start paying this guy. And so they did. And then I started out basically just kind of part-time whenever they needed something. And then that kind of just, grew into almost full-time. And then that kind of grew into, I'm basically salary now. So, yeah.
All right. And as they grew, I mean, obviously the need for you grew too. Because there has been like a huge upscaling of even what I think their plan was for how things were supposed to go.
Yeah.
So, and they couldn't have a better person working there, John. You're a wonderful ambassador for whiskey.
Don't even go there, man. You really are. Just absolutely your face on the show when they decide to include you.
yeah. Or when they don't, when they need somebody to dump eagle poop on or
right
other things.
Now with having all that, have you taken the sommelier class? Have you got?
I have not. I would like to, but
I know it's been shut down for like a year, so that
I
think difficult.
I think they're planning on starting them up again in August or so.
Okay.
And I would like to take it, but I would have to take off time to take it. Take off time from work to actually take it.
Either that or they'd be like, John, we need to borrow you for a little bit.
Yeah.
We need you to review the forklift and get these barrels down to the warehouse.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just meant like that. Obviously, I know you do have access to some of the amazing whiskeys there. How has having that much variety kind of available to you, has that made it kind of tougher a little bit, or has it been really easy to hone in on something that you like as like a flavor profile, or like say even it's just like I really like bourbon more than Scotch or Irish? Has it made it easier to have like something stand out as like a style you like?
In a sense, I would say it actually makes it harder to pin down.
I can see that
what you like, because there's just so many new things that I would say constantly, but it's not constantly. It's occasionally getting a chance to try. It was actually a little more common during like the peak COVID days, because since we weren't open, we would often do like an employee happy hour in the vault.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice.
Which was, was sad that we weren't open, but also we were just hanging out in the vault drinking. So
got that going for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't. I think having too many options is kind of a detriment. But you also get to try some really interesting and cool things. So,
yeah. Are there certain things you go for when you're in the vault? consistently, or are you every time you get a chance in there, it's I'm going for something new?
Most of the time, I'm going for something new,
Yeah.
or something that I've heard really good things about. Even if it's not super new to me, like maybe I've had a different version of that brand
Right.
or whatnot. But usually it's like, oh, okay, this thing is totally new. I want to try that, or.
Ooh. All right. Now I'm sorry. I went back to that, Mom. I didn't have anything else poured. I needed to taste something, and this stuff is really good. Now, most of the people watching the show already know about the distillery, but how much of it are they pulling you into any of that, or like making you do any of the work with some of the distilling besides like some of the barrel work and tending to the barrels and stuff?
I'm learning the distilling a little bit.
Nice.
I've done some of the initial stripping runs for Emma on different things, and then I want to keep doing that. But it's like those are kind of when John doesn't have other things to do, we can let him try, distilling stuff. I think it'll become more common once we move over completely into the new building, or not new building, but what was the barrel house and shop is now just going to be the barrel house and distillery. So
that's good. I'm excited about that for you. It's just another step, kind of heading down the path, and obviously it's something you're interested in. And if they're having you do it, didn't think they'd force you to do it if you didn't want to. But
no.
Okay, so I got to ask, with that Durain fruit, how the hell did that go? Because I know you were there for that.
I had to do the durian on the little was like a T500. It looks like a commercial iced tea urn or something.
Right.
And that was not pleasant at all. It stank a lot. Kind of a mixture between rotting fruit and rotting meat. And there were certain points where, like, sitting next to the still while it's coming off, you're like, okay, I think I'm going nose blind. It's not smelling so. Oh God, there it is. Yeah, no. No.
We finally hit a sweet spot. It's. Oh God, no.
Yeah. But,
so
that was
what you're saying is there's some things better left undistilled.
Yeah, I think so. I'm curious what the next installment will be. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it can't be worse than durian.
I was worried that was going to be a pain to clean up as well too, rather than just the smell from it.
It kind of was, because there were a lot of really thick oils in that fruit, and it likes to cling to stuff, which makes it really hard to get completely off, especially plastic. Like the fermenter we used was a plastic fermenter, and I washed it like 6 times, and it still kind of has this slight taint to it that I don't know if it's ever going to come out.
That was going to be my next question too. Was the cleaning the still and everything?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Ben.
I was just going to say that was what I was curious about as well. Cleaning the still and everything else that you used for to fully get it out or not. And
that's why we used that little T500. We weren't going to taint the big still or the 25 gallon still.
It would be weird to trace like certain barrels back to that fermenter to be like, it has this weird funk.
Yeah, we haven't used that for anything else so far. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, we do have this new make here sitting in front of us. Is this for the bourbon that's coming that they're doing down there?
Yeah, that's the new make for our Texas bourbon that we're doing in conjunction with Balcones up in Waco. It is 55% Texas white corn, 35% Texas wheat, and 15% Texas barley. And then Balcones is actually doing the mashing and the stripping run, and then shipping us the low wines essentially.
Okay.
And then we're doing the spirit run off of that. And we currently are signed up for like 20 barrels worth essentially.
Oh, okay.
And then they're also going to do production run on their side as well. So
Excellent. So you get I think we were talking before the stream, so you kind of get to see a little bit how the stills react differently, because we're always talking about how you could have the exact same recipe and it's never going to be the same exactly. So that'll be interesting.
Even for us, it'll be different because like we did that first barrel on the little tiny still, and then Emma's already started on the second barrel, and then eventually we'll get the new still up and running, and then that'll be different from those two runs, So
nice.
Yeah,
I love when we get to have a tasting like that. Sorry, Ben, go ahead.
I'll say, do you guys have a timeline for when you expect this to age at all, or what you're shooting for?
I assume we're going to wait at least 2 years, but I don't know. The first barrel we put in the shipping container the Friday before the Texas snowpocalypse happened. So it's been in there for 3 or 4 months now.
Right. Yeah. The nose on this, I can't wait to see this on, in the barrel on some oak, what's going to come through, how it's going to change in there. Cause it's, for a new make, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, it really is. There's some fantastic notes going on in here.
I'm just like, it's so bold, but it's not, nothing's overpowering. Like on some of the other ones I've had recently, there might have been a note or two that you could tell was a prominent note that was almost like you're hoping would be worn off over time. I'm not necessarily getting this on the front, but it has a nice long nose. There's clearly different levels to it as you're going through it on the nose. It's not just bam, 2 or 3 notes. It's this kind of is at the beginning and this flows, and then all of a sudden the end has a little bit of trail on it. So I'm expecting the taste to be similar to that.
Yeah,
this is a lot.
I wish I had grabbed a sample of it Friday before I left, because I don't actually have any with me tonight. But I didn't even think about that.
No, it's fantastic. I think we were talking before. If anybody's familiar a little bit with some of Balcone's spirit, there's a little bit of I would say almost a signature element that's going on in here. But I mean, smelling this new make, it's usually you get a lot of floral notes and whatnot. I get a little bit of like a white grape, but there's a lot of like toasted graham cracker, chocolate, granola. There's just some really wonderful notes going on in here. Almost dark for a new make, not as bright as I would normally expect.
And it has like an earthy layer over the top, but it smells almost like velvety.
Right. Yeah, fresh corn. I mean, almost a green corn kind of note. But it's
yeah.
I'd be happy sipping this exactly as it is, to be honest.
It's not bad. I mean, I tried a little bit of it Friday before I left, because Emma had a little sample of it that she had distilled that day, and it was quite tasty. Sitting on the deck drinking that.
Yeah.
So.
This is significantly better than some whiskeys we've had.
I mean, significantly better some aged whiskeys we've had.
Well, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. I meant like there's been some 2 to 4s we've had that this is just off the bat is better than that right away. Well, on here, I'm missing some stuff, but that's okay. It's here. Cleaning plastic is difficult. You could use anything in the least way abrasive, or you make a tiny scratch in the surface. That's a wonderful habitat for things you don't want to grow in. Yeah, that's always fun to have to deal with all that extra stuff in there.
Yeah. Oh, and John Tingley had a good question about the Alliance series.
How often are they released? Is there a schedule? And I think it's more as you guys need to do. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's more as we have it available and as we need it. Like we just released one this week, I think, that was the Devil's River, or it was Still Austin. It was basically this. It was Still Austin's what we didn't use for the festival blend, like the leftovers.
Okay.
And then we have one of the next ones will be the Devil's River that we didn't use for the festival blend. And then I'm not sure what the next Alliance will be after that. So, yeah. it's kind of a as it happens situation. Like we always try and keep one around, but like the Still Austin one, for example, was like I said, it was what we had left over, so it's a kind of a small release.
Right.
Well,
I think what's really fun for me in a lot of the Alliance releases I've gotten to try, and anybody out there that's watching that you haven't gotten to do that, you haven't gotten involved with Crowded Barrel or try these. So you're sourcing whiskeys from different distilleries, and then you're aging them there at Crowded Barrel, and it's really fun. The difference of what aging in a different location. You guys have done Wyoming whiskey, you've done Iron Root, you've done different others. And so you have kind of that core fingerprint from the distillery that's there, but then it's got its own thing. It's just completely done its own thing, aging there with you guys. And so that's always really fun to take a pour of that and then go pour it next to, say, a standard Iron Root or a standard Wyoming and compare.
Yeah, it's essentially us doing like a barrel pick and
right.
then releasing it ourselves. Sometimes it gets dumped at least into a tote almost immediately, but sometimes it does sit around for several months in the barrel. It just kind of depends on like how badly we need it, type thing. So
I always get Dusty in the road. Does that show up in the line? Man, I'm sorry. Hold on here. Give me a second.
I don't get caliche at all. One of the notes I tend to get in Balcones quite often, and I think you mentioned this earlier, Ben, was that kind of horse cookie or like dark molasses type note that I get in many of their releases.
Right.
So in some of the releases, I really like it, and some of them I don't.
Yeah, there's for me, I almost describe it as like dark molasses. And if you're familiar with raising horses or cattle, sweet feed kind of note, there's the aroma that comes off of that. I pick up that in some of the Balcones stuff.
Yeah.
All right. It's time to have another drink. What should we switch into? John, do you want to switch to the single mom, or do we want to talk about something we sent you? Because I sent you a couple. Do you want to try any of those?
Let's do the single mom first, just for giggles.
We're past the 5-minute mark here, John. You can cut loose all you want to.
Yeah.
Just for the shits and grins.
You can yell at me and cut me off.
Matter of fact, Hunter on Monday night, he didn't wait at all. He got right into it.
Of course, then he did that when we met him too, so it wasn't like that was anything different.
Just who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Super fun guy.
Yeah.
Here's what I love, these samples I got. I don't know if people can see this at home. The bits of char that are floating around in there from the barrel.
Yeah. That's what happens when you pull samples in a hurry.
Yeah. No complaints here.
This is okay. I'm loving this because this has got just like the nice light sweet like caramel butterscotchy note, and it's not.
Yeah,
it's almost like the little like what you would drizzle on top of ice cream. So like don't want my brain to go to like an a la mode right now, but that's almost where it's heading for a second.
Yeah, so this is I think 5 barrels, 5 of those 5-gallon Balcones barrels that we had. Mm-hmm. It's the single mom, so it's 100% Maris Otter barley, half peated. So every time we did a run, it was essentially 6 50-pound bags of barley. Mm-hmm. We take 3 bags out to Andalusia and peat smoke it with peat that we bought on Amazon. And then take it back to Acapon. They'd make the mash, and then we'd bring the beer over, the mash over. And we get about 126 gallons at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then distilling that twice on a little tiny still would take Emma or Deb almost 2 weeks. And then I think they would end up with, out of that 126 gallons, they'd end up with maybe 15 or 20 gallons of new make. So
That hurts a little bit. I get it, but it hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much all distillations like that. But, but yeah.
The Amaris Otter on this. I was going to say, I know I've smelt it before, but I couldn't peg it. But I know we had it from
ASW.
ASW.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
there's just the tiniest hint of smoke on the nose.
It is.
Just barely there.
It's a rich caramel note. There's a little bit of an apple to it. That little bit of char and smoke coming in there.
It's like the edge. It's like you kind of burnt the graham cracker on a s'more.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I think I like this grain. I mean, I think like when you start having some grains every now and then, you're like, pretty much everything I have with that, I like it. And I think this is becoming one that if it's in there, I think I'm going to be excited about it.
Yeah. There's two malts I've been really excited in learning and discovering their flavor. The Maris Otter, I love the Golden Promise, what Balcones has done with that too. And then a third is Honey Malt. That one's got a fantastic flavor profile to it too.
Yeah.
But I love this on the palate, man. That peat hits just right. It's kind of a dry peat to it. And it's just like, I almost want to compare it to like a peated Highland meets Texas funk in a way. Yeah. And it's just, oh God, it's delicious.
It's just I don't want to say right amount of smoke, but it's just to a nice low level. Like it's just in there in the background to hint at things. Man, okay. Thank you, John. I'm just going to say it now. This is really damn good. And all you people who are lucky enough to get a bottle, I'm pissed that I may not have before on my own. That's my own fault. But
I mean, nobody's gotten a bottle of this yet.
Right.
So
we're getting some firsties here, Patrick.
Yeah.
Then I feel like I have to fend people off from a bottle.
Yeah.
Because this could definitely win some awards. This is really tasty. How old is this?
So these barrels were, I think, between 9 and 11 months old when we dumped them together. And then we just recently added another 6 barrels to that were between like 10 and 13 or 14 months. And it's a slightly different, but it's still really, really good. But yeah. This is all, I'm pretty sure, since it's still in the baby barrels, it's all Deb's work.
Okay.
And then when we start getting into like the 15-gallon barrels and larger is when Emma kind of started taking the reins over. So
this is some of the things when age whores out there, we're past it, fuck it. There's age whores out there that will bitch about it even being like 2 to 4 years old. Bullshit.
Yeah. Like I said, this is a 5-gallon barrel, so
and down there and aging fast.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, you guys are bypassing a lot of the green notes or anything like that you're getting. You're not getting any of the shitty, annoying, kind of funky craft notes. Obviously, you guys would weed that out. I know Daniel hates that shit with a passion, so he would probably not let that stand. But this is what we say is fantastic. When you're getting stuff a year under that would be putting stuff 4 or more in the dirt, it's just fantastic. I mean,
forget that. This nose is like a 10-year-old Scotch, to be honest, Highland wise. I mean, it's just got that. You don't have any of that new perfumey grain coming off there. It's just.
If you put this next to a simple Glenmorangie, which 10 would you go for?
Right.
I mean, I would reach for this, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
Sorry, Glenmorangie, and I do like you, but sorry.
Yeah. So we after we dumped those other barrels into this, we was it 2-3 weeks ago? We bottled it into 3,005 50 mil bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to be the first Sling-A-Mom release is going to be
Nice.
to the Patreon and so part of the reason doing the 50 mil bottles was we have 3,000 people in the Patreon, and like very few of them get a chance to actually buy bottles.
Right.
Usually we have maybe 200 bottles at a time, and 200 does not go into 3,000 very well. So in theory, almost everybody should get at least the chance to buy one if they want one.
Yeah.
So,
It's like, otherwise, it's like a lottery pick. But that's awesome because, I mean, that's about what we have here. And this is more than enough to enjoy it, 2, 3, 4 times if you want to. So that's a wonderful amount. I was going to say there's some people that will go smaller and like an ounce. And I'm like, it's cool that it's a splash then. Like you never really get to go back and enjoy it. So that's a great amount. And I think that's great what you're doing because just letting everyone try to get a taste of something like that is going to be,
yeah.
I'm going to be setting my 2 aside when it works its way down to me. So,
right
now for the big question, because you're involved a lot with the bottling. How big of a pain in the ass was that to bottle, or it's going to be to do that many small bottles like that?
It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
We had a new bottling machine that we bought kind of specifically for that made it a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only doing 2 at a time. So you're like, you do that.
You're milking the cow there
1,500 times. Yeah. And then there's the other people that's like screwing the cap on one at a time.
Right.
Yeah, that all I'm seeing is like carpal tunnel
coming
on from the tiny bottle. It's like, I don't want to do those anymore. Those are really, really a pain to deal with.
Well, the first half of the day I was running the bottling machine, and I was kind of in my head making fun of the guy that was doing the caps. He was like, oh, my fingers are starting to hurt. I'm like, whatever. And then later on, I started doing the caps. And after like 300 or 400 bottles, I'm like, this it hurts. So,
my finger's starting to go raw on the inside.
Yeah.
Right. No. Oh, okay. That is just. I am really impressed, John. I think these are some really impressive a new make, which is really a standout from what we've been trying with some stuff. And this, once you get a chance, if it's in the Patreon, grab 2 of these bottles because you're going to want to share it with someone. This is really good. Damn impressive.
Pretty sure it's going to be a limit of 1, but.
All right. I think if you learn, you can say what I said, but it's not necessarily going to come true. But Pat said you're supposed to get 2, and it sounds like I am not putting on like another 800 caps. No.
Nope.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
And the finish on the single mom, it just keeps going. I mean, I'm just sitting here like minutes after a sip, and the
smoke is
flavor
faint, but it hangs around for a long time.
It does in a really delicious way.
Yeah.
You're right. It's just a nice level of smoke and char.
Leather and honey, a little bit of tobacco note going on there.
Definitely the honey, a little bit of leather. I'm with you on that. So, since you've been around some of this, do you have a favorite like type of whiskey? Like, say, obviously you're in Texas, but is it a little more peaty? Do you like stuff with a bunch of peat in it, or is it more like a little sweeter, a sweet tooth for you?
It kind of depends. I tend to bounce around, like what my favorite is at the moment. I do like peaty stuff. It's not something I will ever drink a lot of. It's like I want a glass or 2, and then I want to move on to something else.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of bounce back and forth between like Irishes and bourbons as to which is my most commonly consumed. I do like Spacesides quite a bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm kind of all over the map, really. It's sort of a mood thing.
Well, I think that is with everyone, but yeah, some people will rule some stuff out and be like, PD smoky stuff, medicinal, and then that's the end of the line with that whole section.
Yeah, I used to be that way. I used to hate like Scotch because Scotch is too smoky. And then I guess I grew up. I don't know, And,
Did that change coming to the vault, the Crowded Barrel, or was it before that you started?
It was kind of before that. Like it definitely helped having the wider exposure, but I'd already started to come around. I think before that.
And AJ's sorry he was late to the party. I guess we'll accept it. It is good to see you back here again, though. Always is. Rita's like, Bastard's Ball hints? I just know what's happening on the 17th. I don't have any other hints than that.
Yeah, that's all I know is on the 17th.
And our poor friend here is probably going to have to work it, so remember to tip him well that day.
Yeah. I'm doing something. I don't know what I'll be doing.
Since you've been there and exploring whiskey and working with it, outside of the people at Crowded Barrel, has there been anyone in the whiskey community or whiskey world that you thought was very prominent to you, or had an effect on your life, or kind of even with just a nice discussion, kind of changed your viewpoint on something?
Not really. I've gotten a chance to meet some interesting people. Like I met Heather Green maybe 3 or 4 times. I've gotten to meet Jared several times up at Balcones. He probably doesn't remember meeting me, but I met him several times. Talking to Nancy both in person once or twice, and then on your show several times has always been cool. Yeah, I haven't really had any like life-altering whiskey conversations with anybody. But
it does seem like you a cigar and whiskey guy.
Yeah.
You are? All right. I know Ben is that way as well too. Have you found any pairings that you like in particular?
No, because to me cigars are, I kind of treat them the same way I treat whiskey. I just hop around and like try different things. Every once in a while I'll find a brand that I like this one, so I'll buy more than normal and kind of keep those around.
Right.
But there's no like. I tend to prefer either the natural or slightly darker than that kind of. It's between natural and Maduro that I don't know what the term is for, but it's like it's not Maduro, but it's also darker than natural. The wrapper. But yeah, I mean, I think honestly, one of the best cigars I remember ever having came out of the dollar bin at Pipe World. And it was, I don't know, it had no wrapper on it. It was just in a bin. And it was obsidian black, but it was like smoking a freaking Hershey bar, Ooh. It was delicious.
Ooh. Oscar might know. We're not sure, but it might be Oscar. Now we're gonna have to go hunting for some, because that does sound like something I'd be okay with. I'm not normally a big cigar guy, but if it's the right flavor, I can get behind it. Plus, I smoke cigars too fast. It's my problem. I'm not good at slowing down on that. I'm just not.
Yeah.
So, you got any current sticks you're really high on right now?
There's an Oliva that I like. It's a Habano Robusto, like cane by Oliva. It's kind of a medium dark, and it's not real strong flavor wise, but like has a lot of punch. Like if you smoke it and then you stand up to get a glass of something, you're like, oh, whoa, wait a second. Yeah.
I like that little emotion when you know you've had something, and
yeah,
you gotta rethink it for a split second.
Yeah. I'm also kind of a fan of of several different brands of cigarillos. If you just want like a 5 or 10 minute smoke,
Right.
Just those little tiny little cigars. And
Tell you what, John,
the short stories by Fuente.
see if you can find these. It's the Last Call Maduro.
Okay.
By AJ Fernandez. They're just a little short smoke. They're intense, but they're packed full of flavor. They're fantastic. That's a favorite go-to for a quick smoke for me.
Nice.
So there's your cigar recommendation for the night.
Yeah.
We'll take it. All right. Now, I say we have to have another drink just because we're getting later in the show. We should have at least 3 or 4. We always do.
Yeah.
What are you switching to next, John?
That's up to you, because I think you sent them to me. So.
I'm more excited to see what you think about. Let's start with the Three Boys one, and maybe it's number 4, Ben. Sorry, you don't have 4. I know you have 1.
It's okay.
But
Yeah.
I'm just intrigued. Is it? Yep. And it can be as simple. You can give the simple review of I like it, I dislike it, and the story, and leave it at there if you want. But there's a couple of them here that I'm intrigued. Actually, the one I'm most intrigued about is to see if you like the Cole Keegan cast strength, because that one, it has a special home for me. That one.
I've only had one Cole Keegan, and that was in the vault, and it was a somewhat limited release, if I remember correctly. But I don't. Okay. That's about all I remember about it.
It's probably the sherry barrel, I would think. Then.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
There was some special color on the label or something that made it different.
Right.
So I don't know.
I've really enjoyed every single thing I've tried from Cole Keegan. Period. But that their cast strength, I think their batch 3 was the last one I got to try. Was really impressed with that, and then that 10-year anniversary, that sherry barrel finish, the PX, that one's amazing as well.
Wow, that is a very different whiskey than the Single Mom. Holy cow!
Yeah,
the Three Boys.
Yeah, and that one was a little desserty beforehand. Now after the other one, that is a completely different animal. Holy cow!
Wow. Yeah, that is drastic change in gears.
I was not expecting to have that happen, John. It's not you.
It's like, I don't know if it's like this by itself, but it's like exceedingly sweet to me right now.
It was a little sweet, but it was not like this on its own as far as like starting off the night. This one,
right?
Yeah.
Just one of the, I don't want to say one of the few times, but definitely like the predecessors have changed what I'm getting off of this. Holy!
I'm guessing that peat and that smoke you got coming off the Single Mom has taken off the bitter notes, the bitter edge, and you're just getting straight sweetness off that Three Boys right now.
It's pretty close.
There's no bitterness right now.
Yeah.
I'm getting more like wood tannins, if anything, on it, and that's about it on the tail end. That really squashed some of that. Well, now I feel like a bad host, and I've led you down the wrong path. So that's fucking awesome.
Way to go, Patrick.
Three Boys, was that one of the distillers you had on recently?
That was
Monday night.
Okay.
Yeah, Hunter.
Yeah.
That's the crock pot through the pressure cooker through the
floor
ceiling
and through the ceiling and the floor.
Right.
I still thought he should have tried to. He's like, I don't know. I was just getting the cheap ones from the store. I was like, man, you should got a really good one, and then been like, fuck, this is under warranty. Like, go back to Lowe's and be like, I don't know what the fuck happened.
It broke.
What is this crap you're selling? Come on.
Go back to Costco. You guys take it back however it comes back, man. Here, I want a new one. Just can't stand up to it. Oh, okay, so this I feel like everything after this is gonna be thrown off now. I don't know how.
What else did you send him, Patrick?
The Lee Sinclair Iconoclast,
Okay.
the Westland Garyana, and then the Cole Keegan cast strength.
All right. So coming off the Three Boys, maybe that helped clean up the palette just a little bit or shift it. Try the Lee Sinclair, the Iconoclast, and see what you think on that one.
All right, you too, Ben. I know you got one there. You can go.
I got one. I have to go fetch the bottle though. So
well.
y'all hang on a second.
I didn't make a good dump glass. Shit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I didn't do that.
That's okay. I've quickly made some at the end a few times to cover it up. What the heck, Oscar? Who are you sucker punching to try what? I missed that. I want to know who you do that to.
Who's Oscar going to sucker punch?
I don't know,
What
but I
whiskey
want
he's
to know.
sucker punching for?
Oh, he was talking about the anniversary edition of Cole Keegan.
Mm.
That stupid thing does not update appropriately. But
Oh man, y'all gonna make me. I haven't even opened this bottle yet.
that's right.
Get to
Crack
crack
it
it
open.
open right here.
I want to
That's
hear it.
very rare in my house to have an unopened bottle of anything.
I just like to be the person making people open stuff.
Yeah, you do.
I like to talk people into that. It makes me feel good.
You're good.
John, do you have any special bottles you're not supposed to drink out of?
Well, I mean, I try and keep one bottle of almost everything we release, at least for now.
That's a cool library to have, even if other
Yeah.
people are doing it.
But like, I have most of our releases. Like, I don't have chapters like 1, 2, or 3. I think I have everything after that, except for after we released like chapter 9. We have a bunch of like 9.2, 9.3, 9.4, 9.5. I kind of
Right.
stopped. Was like, I don't really need all these, 9 point whatevers. But I think everything after that I have as well. I'm pretty sure I have every one of the alliances.
See, I think that's just a really cool. It's like a mini history library that you have of everything. And there should be a lot more distilleries doing something like that. There are some that do, but there's a lot that do not keep even a small sample of everything they're doing to be able to go back and check at it and compare it to. I find that amazing that they don't do that.
Yeah, Emmett has always had us keep at least 2 bottles of everything, and then we've started keeping more, partially in case like a bottle gets broken or, somebody pours the wrong thing in the tasting room and they, pouring somebody's bottle that they were coming to pick up or whatever. So I think now we're trying to keep at least 2 cases in reserve of every barrel we do, partly for history and partly for, bad things happened,
Yeah.
So.
Weddle's saying he enjoys smoking pipes, but he's not a Robo fan. I don't know. Does that mean you're smoking naked, Weddle? You're just no robe whatsoever? I don't know about that.
Is he dissing the cult? What's going on here?
I'm not quite sure, but that's okay.
Yeah. All right. So what you getting off of this one, Mr. Wiskowski?
I'm not the best at nosing.
That's okay. Just what's your impressions? Sweet,
It's kind of
whatever
sweet
like it
to me.
Yeah.
I want to say almost a honeysuckle, but not quite.
Okay.
Maybe like a honeysuckle and citrus type thing.
Oh yeah, I could see that for sure on that. It's interesting because the standard Lee Sinclair, the 4 grain, it has a real bready note to it, like a fresh baked bread kind of thing. And this one, the Iconoclast, it's different because it's a blend of 3 unique barrels that Alan did, and it's just got a completely different profile on the nose and all than what the standard Sinclair is.
I'm getting almost like a minty tea sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. What's I think it's the oats that do a little bit different flavor. Even still now, I think there's less of an oaty flavor in this than there was the normal one, in my mind.
I can get the oats in the other one. I think the oats too, they contribute a lot to the mouthfeel on this. That's one of the reasons Alan incorporates that.
The softer mouthfeel kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, man,
I like
this
that.
is delicious. Our friend Kevin keeps calling this the whiskey of the year, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But it's good.
I don't know, man. That single mom was pretty damn tasty. That might slide over into a little shelf for well, the shelf is gone. The wife has moved the shelf. I have to find it and find the whiskeys that may have been on it. But this might be going this might be going on that little the little shelf for precursors for whiskey of the year, because that single mom was
I have been
tasty.
thrown off. I've been thrown off tonight a little bit, Patrick, because it's a weekend edition of my whiskey den, and there's no gimp closet behind you.
It's not. It's
what's going on here?
I paid extra for this.
You're in your normal place.
I did. It's only Friday nights that I'm in some of those odd rooms putting on shows. It's never a Saturday night. You won't see me there. I hope you won't see me in one of those rooms on a Saturday night. It's so scary. I hate it.
Are you like filming from a closet or something? Or
it seems to be that way, and from what it is, and I am always concerned about what could be coming through the door.
Yeah, we just want to know what's behind the door behind Patrick.
I'm concerned about what's behind the door. I don't think that's the case. I hope not. I don't want to be in charge of anybody like that. That would cause me some issues. I'm not ready for that level of I don't know, dedication. But
man,
I don't know here. Let's see. This one.
Yeah,
this one
is
at least
good.
didn't get washed out as much. Like Three Boys got like morphed. This one doesn't. Is staying a little bit truer to its original profile. So.
Yeah, it's standing up, and I'm coming straight off of the single mom to this one. So,
yeah,
but it's standing up really good. Which Allen's whiskeys tend to do that, even though they are not always cast strength or high proof. This one's at 107.9, but they tend to stand up to some big boys. That's one of the reasons Matty Gladden was my whiskey of the year last year, because blinding it and going next to a bunch of other whiskeys that were all cast strength, and again, it just stood up in nose and flavor profile. And this one's another amazing one. Alan,
so the single mom,
you're brilliant.
Forgot to mention earlier, but it's probably right around 103.
103? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's that bourbon new make? Do you know what the proof was on that one? Because it doesn't taste like it's really high.
I don't remember what it was when I got those samples. I know the stuff we were trying this Friday was like straight. It was the hearts straight off the still, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it was like 136, but it did not taste like 136 at all.
I was going to say this tasted. I would say it's at least 120 or below. Maybe in the 115 range, 115 to 120 something range. At least that's what it's tasting like.
It could very well be still 130 something, but it just doesn't taste that way.
Wow.
If it is, it's man.
That's impressive.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Very impressive.
I don't remember if what I grabbed for Mike was like before Emma proofed it down, like for barreling, or after. So
either way, if it is 130, man, is that sneaky? If that is it, that is a sneak. That's one of the sneakier drinks, man.
Woo.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste anything remotely like that.
No, not at all.
No, 40s, that tastes really nice. Yeah. All right, so I don't want to skip the Westland almost. Do you want to come back when we review the Westland? I got to get it out to Mike and Ben still.
Sure.
We could have you come back on and we'll go over that one.
Yeah.
Just because I'm I'm concerned. It's another one where I'm concerned about my reaction to it. So I want more people to have a thought process on it because I'm
Right.
going to be honest. I wasn't super overly blown away by it. I thought it was nice, but it wasn't. So I think we need to give it its own time because it is a very cool whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to have a sip of this, the Kilkeegan Cask Strength, definitely before we go. This one,
I gotta go grab a clean Glencairn real quick. I'll be right back.
You know, they have like a little bump up on the bottom of the bottle. Mine is just right at the top of that bump up on the inside, so it's like you know you're dangerously low levels. You can like Oscar. Hey Mark, it's good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. And Oscar, like I'm not dissing Westland. I like Westland, and I like their products. Just from all the like super hype of the Garyana wood, I thought I was going to be like mind blown away and the doors come off, and it was a very good whiskey, but it was it didn't quite live up to the super hype for me, and maybe that's part of my problem was listening to the super hype because I usually try to turn my ears off to that shit and not deal with it. But I was going to say it's hard to do it with that one because you never find a bottle. I jumped on it in Kentucky only because I hadn't seen it in like 3 years. So, but now do you have the cask strength still, Ben, or do you have to go grab a bottle of that too? Or are you all out?
I'm all out. My samples are gone on that. I need to reach out to Colin and get reloaded, if you will. I have a little bit of the anniversary, the PX finish left, but
wow, no.
So I'm just going to enjoy this iconoclast, and I'll let you boys ramble on about the.
That's fine.
About the Kilkeegan. I'm well initiated in that one, so.
It's way stronger than the single mom, obviously.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to come away with this. Is that single? Damn. I feel like I'm going to have to go hunt Deb out and give her a hug even at her damn new job. It's getting there. Deb needs some love because that is some damn tasty stuff. I mean, especially putting it up with some of the other things that I'm putting up with tonight. That's really it's holding its own, if not becoming my favorite of the night right now.
This is a little hot on the nose to me.
I forget what it is. Hold on here. And it's going to be compared to the rest of them, I think. This is one of the ones that was like, and I think of, God damn it, I'm going to have to taste it. I know it was aggressive, but 59 is what this one was. So it's not, I mean, it's high, but it's not crazy high. Oh. Hey, Emily. Hey, Richard.
Oh, that's really nice. I like that a lot.
Curious your take on that. You're familiar with the smoke they use for that one, right?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. Then before I go into that with you, what does it remind you of? Or what kind of impression do you get off of? Because for me, when I sip it, it takes me to a whole other different style of whiskey or a different region or place.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come back and you find out, well, wait, this isn't even, there's a smoky element to it, but it's not peat.
Wait, okay. I think I'm remembering something.
Yeah.
So I think I may know what you're talking around.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them to stop doing that. Give me straight talk, though.
Right?
Yeah. Yes, it is. 30% of it smoked with mesquite wood.
Yeah. So I can, now that I've said that, my brain is like, oh yeah, I can almost get like a little striker-like hint on the nose.
Right.
Those are different too. It's I end up getting like a neat like Scotch. Is where I have this. I end up leaning more into the Scotchy rum. Where I think if I put it in a blind, I think I would fuck it up and get it wrong. I might get the mesquite and get it and pull it back, but I think otherwise I would be lost.
I think in a blind, the majority of people are going to call this a Scotch.
Yeah,
and
I would.
For me, it goes to Campbelltown. It puts me in the mind of like a Springbank or even Longmorn a little bit. Just the way the notes, the profile come off. But that's one of the things I've enjoyed a lot about that one in particular. I've had mesquite in a number of other whiskeys, and there's a sweet, tangy element to the smoke that comes off the mesquite. This one's it's a little bit different. But once you realize it's mesquite, okay, yeah, I get that in there. But if you're tasting it blind, I think you're gonna have a hard time nailing that down.
Yeah, I definitely did not get it on the nose the first time.
Right.
And then when you started to talk about it, and I remembered what I remembered about Kilkeegan, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But it's definitely good.
It's just a neat little sleeper for what it was. I wasn't expecting it to have the full flavor it did from just the nose.
Right.
I think I was going more. God damn it! I was going more to Isla, just with like the smokiness to it.
I would have probably pinned it more as a Highland, but with something else, kind of like a weird Highland,
Right.
Now my tongue's starting to like level out to the flavor of it. Whatever, it just means we need some more.
Yeah. You always need more whiskey.
It is. But yeah, that's just a nice little. It was a little sleeper, but I don't know. I'm going back. Damn it. I even have a clean glass. Hold on. I think I got one clean glass left. I'll be right back.
John Tingley, speaking of Striker, has anyone tried the Super Smoke version? If Renita is still in the chat here, still watching, I think she has, if I remember seeing that right. I could be wrong. So if she's still here, if she can chime in on that one. But I've seen a couple people comment on it, and it sounds like it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I've not had it. I've heard people talk about it that did have it.
Yeah.
I love Striker, and it sounds like the description I got most commonly was it's like Striker, but we turn the smoke up like 35% or so.
Right.
Holy shit.
So I would love to try it. And at some point I will, assuming they don't run out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Renita just jumped in there. Super smoked. It's all burnt ends and no sweet.
Okay. I'm getting to the point where I might need to eat something. So that is a little tempting. That is super tempting. All right, I did. I found one clean one. I'm going back to the single malt here because going after Kilkeegan, I want to see what this one comes back around as.
The single mom?
Yeah, I'm going back there. And it's way smokier. Yeah, it does sound exciting. I don't know. You Texas people are making all sorts of great stuff. I'd have a hard time wanting to travel outside of the state for whiskey. Like here, you can see a couple places, but you usually want to go someplace else on a trip. Kentucky, Denver, down to Texas. Being in Texas, are there any places that you like, distilleries that you want to go see that aren't in Texas? Because I could see how that could take years just doing that with myself.
Right. Yeah. No, I would like to go to Kilkeegan. I would like to make some of the traditional Kentucky, distilleries.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see Westland. I think would be cool. There's the names escape me, but I think there's one or two in Denver that I'd like to check out, or in Colorado. Plus, just getting to go to Colorado,
Yeah, it's a great place. I think that's that's a my whiskey den destination option. It's come up a few times.
I think we're looking hard at that, and especially
June
with Todd Leopold releasing his 3-chamber rye coming up. So
yeah,
that's June 19th. Is
19th or is the 18th?
It's June 19th.
19th. Okay.
I was actually we got to try a little bit of that about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Daniel had a little tiny bottle about this big.
Right.
It's pretty darn good.
Yeah, it is. It really is. There's a lot of nuance and flavor going on in there, and really fantastic.
I just want to see some other stuff that comes off of it besides what he's doing. You know, like I already know I like the Abruzzi rye, so I was gonna I think I'll be happy with it. But what else? Yes, we could come visit you. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
I think there could be another trip out there. Oscar was saying
Chakrapalooza 2.0. We'll have to make that happen.
Stranahan's out in Colorado.
Stranahan's would be fantastic.
Yeah. Yep. And
291. I'd like to see them out there.
Dave hit a pretty good list here as well, too. As we say, Leopold, Deerhammer, 290. Yeah, it makes Denver a damn tempting stop, just because a couple hours away you can encompass 4, 5, 6 different places you want to go see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely high on our list as well, too. So
and you just get to see a beautiful area of country too. So
yeah, that's true. Now let's see here.
I still get the smoke, just barely.
Just barely. It smells a little bit sweeter. I doubt it's going to taste that way though. But it smells so soft. It smells soft, velvety. It's not aggressive in any way, shape, or form.
What are you back on the single mom?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I get just rich caramel.
So we have one
right now
full size barrel that Deb filled of single mom. It's sitting in a shipping container right now, and I'm really excited for it to give you. I mean, it's coming up on 2 years. And I think like in August it would be 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a used bourbon barrel.
Oh,
nice.
So what are the chances of a barrel heist happening? You guys have good security? How is that?
Yeah. Something like that.
I'm sure they're all video cameraed. I'd have it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta say it's a little tempting to.
I mean, I don't know about barrel heist, but sample heist might be a thing.
I think we've already participated in that.
Yeah, we kind of did that, and I'm enjoying it way too much.
Oh yeah, it's still nice.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, there is a lot to be said for that thing. Holy cow. This is Ben. Does this have like the cohesiveness of like a Fraley thing in my mind? You know what I mean? Like how it's not edgy and all the flavors meld in this really nice way. It almost feels like Elevage was used. Not saying you guys did or not, but it has this really nice marrying going on to it.
It does. I completely agree. And take a look. We got a delinquent bastard in the chat here.
What the hell? You have a link. You can get in here for a minute. You got whiskey. Hop on the show, goddamn.
No, it does. That's something that impresses me with this. Is it's all the flavors. They're really well integrated. The whiskey is really well structured. And when I say that, it's like nothing is in conflict with each other. The flavors kind of work together. You work through them in layers in a really nice, cohesive way. There's nothing just jumping out. It's not spiky. It's put together really well. And that's something that always impresses me about a spirit when it's done that way. So this is right in that vein.
Yeah, these were, I believe, put into the barrel at 110.
Okay.
But it's always kind of interesting learning how other distilleries do things. Whenever we're going to barrel something, we'll hydrate the barrel, like we'll fill it with water for like 2 days, and then dump it out. And maybe like let it dry for a couple of hours, but it's still fairly wet when we fill it. So it's going to go down from that 110 to, 106 or something like that. And then we just let it age from there. So yeah, it's like some people, they won't put it in a dry barrel, but they'll put it in, like they won't hydrate it essentially.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they think it'll hold the liquor, they'll just let it go, and some places will put it in what is essentially a tight but dry barrel and just let it seal itself up after a while. So,
has there been anything you've learned that you weren't expecting to along the journey of working there? Like something that kind of came out of left field, and you're like, I was not expecting to do this today.
Not exactly, but sort of. Like the distilling process, while it's complicated, is shockingly more simple than I thought it would be, if that makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like once you learn all the steps, you're like, that's it? That's all we do? That's, okay. All right, I could do that. Shit.
Hey, no, that's a good thing though, because there's a lot. I think that's a lot of stuff with a lot of jobs and a lot of things. Is just like it's intimidating off just not knowing a lot about it and not knowing behind the scenes, and then you get behind it and it's like, oh, well, that's not that terrible.
Yeah,
like I didn't give a shit about motors before like 2 months ago, and now because of my job I have to care about that. And I was like, you know what, like it's really not that bad. Yeah, I'm like like staring at all the parts like freaked me out for like the first half a week, and now I'm like, oh, okay, it's not on this page, damn it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So, do you have an all-time favorite whiskey, or has there been something that's like stood out and was like, this is one I really love? Like I know one year Rue Port was one of my favorites that still hangs out in the background.
I don't think so. Like there are ones that come in and out of favor for a couple of months, but there's no like all time. This is my desert island whiskey or anything like that.
No, I just what's one that you like? What's one that you think you got to have at the house?
Well, I mean, I would say the Ugedal, but I don't have any at the house at the moment. But I do love the Ugedal.
Hey, I have a bottle over there, so I'm not gonna argue with you on that one.
Right.
I have one hidden over there, so
yeah.
Oh, you're trying to show people Ben's got one?
Yeah, that there it is, Ardbeg top shelf.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck! We lost Ben just like that.
That's what happens when you move the camera.
Those darn southern connections.
Yep.
He must be having power issues, gas issues. What's going on?
Squirrel died.
I love how he's not back yet. I really thought that would have kicked over like right away. Usually it's like 2 seconds later. But I just think it's neat that you get to. Now, usually on Fridays, you said you're hanging out. You just hang out with most of the people that come through Fang and Feather on a Friday, right?
Yeah, I just hang out on the deck. Like with usually Daniel and Rex will hang out from about 4:30 or 5 onwards, and just kind of meet and greet people. And that's like my end of the day. It's like I hope I don't stink too bad because I've been working all day, but I'm gonna sit here and drink some free whiskey.
So at some point, hold on, Ben's messaging me like he can't get back in. He just knocked the computer off. The power backup. He basically screwed up his whole computer for a second there. So that's
nice.
Of course, I'm going to laugh about that, folks. That's just what's going to happen. I can't not. Wow. Okay, I can't tell you how much I'm happy that you snuck this out because.
No, it's good stuff. and we have, like I said, we have the one full size barrel. I think there's still about 20-ish of the 5-gallon barrels that are of various ages that are still aging. And then we've got about 6 or 7 15-gallon barrels of various ages that are aging as well. And then, yeah, we'll see what happens. Like at some point, once the new still is up and running, we'll go back to doing single mom on that, I'm sure. But we've been kind of focusing on the bourbon more recently.
Wow.
That and the mead project we had.
Mead project.
Yeah.
That's the honey. That's the honey project.
So yeah, we had basically Meridian Hive here in Austin. They had like 270-gallon tote, kind of get lost in a warehouse essentially for a year. So it was half orange blossom honey mead and half orange muscat grape wine. And so it was a blend of that got lost in a warehouse and basically oxidized. So it kind of didn't taste as great as it should, but there wasn't anything wrong with it. And so their choices were either dump it or give it away because they couldn't use it for anything. And after a couple of phone calls, they ended up coming to us, and we're like, hell yeah, we'll take it, and distill it. So it had been like for the past 3 or 4 weeks, I've been distilling that on the little still, and it smells freaking amazing when you're distilling it. I mean, like it smells fantastic.
And have you gotten to taste a little bit of it afterwards?
Oh yeah, we tasted the hell out of it at all points during the process. And we're going to end up with probably maybe 20, 25 gallons of like new make. But it's like, is it a brandy? Is it something else? Because it's half wine, half mead.
Yeah, so that is an issue. Are you planning on barrel aging it at all once it gets
We are.
started?
The tribe is going to vote on it. I think they've already voted on used barrels. And now that we have to come up with like some votes on like what type of used barrels we can get a hold of. So, but it's a really good distillate. Even some of like a very small section just from the stripping run was really damn tasty. And then the stuff from the spirit run was even like, to me, was better, but
that's good.
It varied from like honey to like toasted grape nuts to other stuff. It was really, really good.
That sounds good. The only reason to ask is we have one guy up here that takes honey and stills it into a mead and then distills it into they call it somel, but basically like a spirit, honey spirit, but it's not like that gross, overly sweet honey spirit. It's just like this really neat flavor of honey. I don't know. I really enjoy it, and it works good in some cocktails and stuff. And after it is barrel aged for even up here, it was 6 months. It puts on a really. When I tasted it, I thought of it was whiskey in reverse, where you had the honey flavor and you went back into the barrel to steal all the other notes from what it was.
Right.
Rather than going the other way. I'm like, well, if you could do this in 6 months, my thought was like, what could you guys do in Texas with whatever is going on? So that's one of the things that you're doing that I'm excited to see how it turns out, just because of what you're doing.
I am too, because the spirit is amazing. Like even the stuff that we just dumped down the drain after the spirit run, you're like, God damn, that smells good. It doesn't have that much alcohol in it, but it smells really good.
A distilled specialty spirit with the fictional name Bastardized Grappa. And I don't think if we know when the next Crowded Barrel rave is, but we're all hoping for it, because I did enjoy that quite a bit.
It was fun to do, but it was really fucking hot that day. Because it was in August in the evening,
right,
in a sealed up building, and I'm a little bit on the portly side, I thought I was going to die at a couple of points.
So whose idea was that to do that?
Yeah,
Dan?
that was Rex. Son of a bitch.
Why am I not surprised?
Do you ever get like a thing like that in the middle of the day where it's like, hey, I got an idea for stuff, and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to participate, Rex.
Yeah. They start talking about things and your spider sense goes off and you're like, this is not going to be good.
I'm just going to wander across the campus. I got something to do over there.
Yeah.
Like right before they can finish the thought process.
Yeah. They'll never find me over here.
All right. Now I'm going to start pouring a dump glass because we've had you on here an hour and a half, and we know it's the weekend, and we've eaten up a little bit of time of yours, but we can't let you go without having like one little mix of everything here at least.
Dump glass.
I'm working on it.
All right.
So I don't have a dump glass, but I did kind of sort of recreate the.
That's
the
what I did.
We tried. Yeah.
I did that too. Then I'm putting in.
I tried to pour equal proportions, but I won't swear to anything.
I did not. Mine's a random mix of whatever's left at this point. And it's not bad on the nose here.
No. Mine is a little hot, kind of like that Cole Keegan, but still really nice.
You're exactly right about that. That's on the second half of mine. It's definitely hotter like that.
And mine's going to be different from y'all's. I don't have the Cole Keegan kicking in here, but the for me the new make is what's kind of leaping to the top.
Yeah, the earthiness in it. I can see that.
I don't have the new make to put in.
Okay. It's good, but midway through, there's like this grassy, minty note on mine.
Yeah.
It gets me for a second. Other than that.
Towards the end of the palate for me, but yeah, that kind of grassy, minty something.
Oh, Gil, we are having the single mom from Crowded Barrel. We're also tasting one of the new make for the bourbon they have. I threw in here the Three Boys standard, a little bit of the Iconoclast, and some Cole Keegan cast strength is what I threw in here. So,
yeah, mine is just the Lee Sinclair Iconoclast, the new make, and the single mom.
I'm getting a lot of granola on this too.
And that's coming hard on mine now. But this makes a tasty blend with these three.
I like it, but I think the weird combination of whatever I have in here as well got that little bit of a grassy note on the first third to the second third.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as big a fan of that, but the rest of it I like altogether. It's way better than a couple of the other blends we've made recently. Holy cow! It's typically it's nice, but I was gonna say we've had a couple recently. There was two that were like god awful. I don't know what happened in the mixing frame of it. But let's see here. We got a couple things. We got. Is St. Louis night coming up?
I believe so. I have to look back on the schedule here. We got a lot of stuff scheduled up right now.
I only got a couple of them on here, but we'll let you start running with some of them. I thought St. Louis night was the next one.
I believe you're right on that. We've got St. Louis night. We've got a sample kill night.
We do. And then we
coming
also
up at
have
some point. We've got the 24th Old Crow night. Yep.
The old Crow versus
new
Old Crow. And then we'll probably be talking about our trip when we were there a little bit of that night because we went to Glenn's Creek, which is on the Old Crow's ground.
That looked like a fun trip. That
was a fantastic trip. Mike summed it up really well. I think it honestly left such a deep impression on all of us. Just the people that we got to hang out with, the relationships there, but experiencing some of the distilleries and that we got to see and everything, it was just an amazing experience. So
I think that's what's missing for a lot of us here is
yeah.
I don't want to say call it whiskey trips, but that extra little level of connection or a memory that has been a little faded for over a year or so that you haven't gotten to make. And those, I think a lot of people will see that happening for themselves this year when they go do something and get a chance to get a little bit closer to normal. So, but holy cow. So we'll have some other posts about some of the other stuff coming up. We got some things booked out into June, but
yeah, a lot of these places you've heard us talk about, stick around for June because you're going to get to see and meet the people firsthand. I would say it's almost like we're taking a deep dive into Kentucky craft distilling for the month of June. Yeah,
that's okay. We were happy to steal some Texas tonight.
Yep.
Because this is some of the better stuff I've had all year. So I'm ecstatic. Yep. And I can't thank you enough, John, for this and for coming on the show and spending some time with us this evening.
That's fun.
It has been fantastic. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for stopping out and hanging out with us this evening as well.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. We appreciate all the comments you guys have. We will not have a show this Monday night. We're taking a break. So the next one, I think, is going to be next weekend when we have a show. That's when I think we're doing the review of St. Louis Still 360 and Stumpy's, I think is what we're doing then. Those should be interesting because Adam's making some good stuff, and I've heard good things about the 630s, but just haven't tasted them yet. So thanks, John, for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Yeah, bud.
Cheers to everyone out there in the chat as well, too. Remember, it's not the size of the den that matters. It's the love of whiskey. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, all.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3.